talks with Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper. Both of their deals are up at the end of this season, while Ezekiel Elliott is under team control through 2020. Yesterday, Jones talked about paying all of his stars and why they should take less money to stay in Dallas. Take a listen.
It's not their job to manage the cap, I understand that, but it is my job and Jerry's job so that they will understand why we're negotiating hard to make the very best deal we can, because the money's, if we can talk them into not maxing out, doing well but not maxed, then that allows us to have other good football players around them. And we all know what happens. You look at the TV booths and you look at what these players do off the field. If we can put Super Bowl rings on these guys, then, they'll be legends around this area for many, many, many years to come. And what they may give up a little bit in their contract, they should be able to invest, in being a Cowboy and making our teams better.
All right, we're joined by Fox NFL analyst Greg Jennings. Hey, Greg, any truth to what Steven said there?
All truth to what he's saying. All truth to what he's saying.
Well, then let's go to the next question.
Moving on.
When I listen to Stephen Jones, what he's saying is exactly right. It's not the player's job to concern themselves with the salary cap.
Correct.
However, he understands that in order for us to keep this comprised roster that we have, which is very talented and very young, they have to take less. Everyone can't max out. We can't pay everyone top dollar.
You took less?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well,
It's complicated.
But then, when you look at it from a player's perspective, when you're told the value that you bring, you've been told you've earned this contract, you've earned these numbers, why would you then sit across the table and take less? That's the problem that you run into. And again, this is a problem, a good problem for the Dallas Cowboys to have, because they have drafted well and they have made a really good trade with Amari Cooper and acquired what they did in him and his assets. But when I look at the Dallas Cowboys, the only issue they have starts with Dak Prescott because he sets the tone. And if he takes a max deal, then everyone else is going to say, I'm taking a max deal too. They're not going to take less. That's been the key to success for the New England Patriots, and it's worked for them. It does not work for everyone else because everyone else is not Tom Brady, and everyone else doesn't have Bill Belichick in the scheme.
And which one of them got married to Giselle? Which one of their wives worth $400 million?
That as well.
No one I know.
Oh, okay.
And so when you look at the Dallas Cowboys and what Stephen Jones is saying, it's all true. But players aren't thinking the same way, because I've worked my butt off, especially a Dak Prescott, who was a later round draft pick, who has played himself into this position. You're now telling me I'm making $2 million and less, and
okay, but you're telling me that Dak should set the early tone through all the negotiations.
No, he said he will.
By taking a Dallas discount, right?
That's the only way the other players will follow suit.
So I believe he will take, as you call it, a little bit of a haircut. Just a little bit of a
I can see that.
It's for America's team's sake. It's for Super Bowl's sake.
You know what? How about this here? You know what? I'm going to do you this fast. I'm going to Stephen Jones, you know what? You make a very good point. I'm going to take a little less. Can you guarantee all of it, though? How about this, Skip Bayless? Okay. You know what? I'll take a little less.
Done.
I'll take a little less.
Yeah, I can speak for Stephen and Jerry.
They're
Done.
They're not going to do that because I don't know, guys. I don't know how many guys was in there. Dez Bryant had 2 years left on his deal. Where'd he get him? Got cut. How many guys do we see have 3 years, 4 years left on a contract? When you don't meet expectations, what they do? They don't say, you know what? We're going to do this for the better. They do it for the betterment of the team. Well, so for me, I'm a team. Team Shannon. I need to do what's in the best interest of Team Shannon. Because, I got mama to take care of. I got Miles to feed. I got college to think about, Skip Bayless. Ain't no guarantee that someone's going to call me and say they want me to be on their personality. And even if they do, yeah, but he played for the Cowboys. But if he's not very good, that means you're not going to have that job very long. Skip, I need to get out of all that. Especially my first big contract. Now, talk to me down the road. After I get a couple of years under my belt, I might be willing to come next contract. You know what? Y'all took care of me the last time around. I'm going to give you a little discount this time around. But not out the gate, Skip. Not the first time. No, I'm not going to be able to do that.
So, Shannon Sharpe would like every Dallas Cowboys star to do what's in the worst interest of the Dallas Cowboys because he wants them to fail, because he is scared to death they're going to be as great as I think they're about to be over the next 2
What about the best
years.
interest of the player? I thought you were the players.
This is all about America's team and Super Bowls, and they are on the verge. The quarterback needs to set the tone. But what everybody needs to understand is, no offense to you guys, but this isn't Denver or Baltimore. This is not Green Bay or Minnesota. This is Dallas, Texas. This is the capital of the NFL. This is America's team. There's nothing like being a Cowboy in Dallas, as great as it is to be a Bronco in Denver or a Packer in Green Bay, or, for that matter, a Viking in Minneapolis.
I don't know, Packer, you know. There's something about me. Yeah, but it's, I mean, you win a Super Bowl there now.
Hey, it's a little bit of different cloth.
You win something in Dallas, it is, you are a made man for the rest of your career. And you do have inroads into various TV booths because everybody wants a piece of America's team. Because America's team sells, it rates. And again, we talked about this earlier. Tony Romo, Troy Aikman got their shots because they were Cowboy quarterbacks. They then
white Cowboy quarterback.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that.
Daryl Johnson, white.
Okay.
Cowboy fullback.
Darren Woodson, not a white
But Skip, these sit around the desk on the morning show.
Yep.
That's a whole different ball game. The booth, you know that, Skip.
Do I?
There's also very many of those jobs available. They come up every so often.
There's one guy in the booth. There's like 4 guys sitting at a table.
Okay. All right, I got you. But I covered Darren Woodson, and I like the heck out of him. He's still a close friend of mine, but he did not have or show a scintillating personality while he was a leader of the Dallas Cowboys dynasty teams. But once he got his shot at ESPN, he seized it, and all of a sudden, a personality came out that I didn't even know was there. But he got his foot in the door because he was that guy for that team, right?
You believe Deion would be on the air if he didn't play for the Cowboys?
Well, Deion played for everybody.
Okay, what about Mike? Do you believe Mike, with his personality, had he not played for the Cowboys?
Well, he had a big, bold personality.
Had
I
he
don't
not
know.
played for the Cowboys,
He was a lightning rod.
He might have been in jail if he had not played for the Cowboys. So you might be right, Skip.
No, he would have avoided jail if he had played elsewhere because
no, he wouldn't have.
It's Sin City, man.
No, he wouldn't have avoided jail. With some of the things he had going on.
Well, you could be right about that. But look, Stephen Jones is just speaking the painfully obvious that you can't make every player on the roster, and it is star-studded, and they're all becoming stars. You can't make every one of them the highest paid at their positions because that won't fit under the cap.
Not the highest paid, but I need to be top 3, top 5.
And they're deserving of it.
They are. But he said that.
Yes.
He said, I wish I could max them out because they've all earned it.
So you said I deserve the job, but you won't give me the job.
And that lies a problem in and of itself, because once I hear you say it out of your own mouth, then I'm going to come back and make sure you...
That's what you said. You
put it on paper.
You said I took off. You said your offense took off when I showed up. You said your quarterback took off when I showed up.
Okay.
So now, all that being true, you want me to do what?
But the problem of what happens with these contracts is, let's say Amari Cooper gets paid, and Ezekiel Elliott then gets paid. Dak Prescott is going to get paid. He's a quarterback that's going to be stapled. But what happens 2 and 3 years down the road? Same thing. What happens to Sean Lee? You continue to draft well. Sure. Now we have to restructure your deal. Okay. It's back to your point. If it's not fully guaranteed, I can restructure this deal to where now you're going to take a little less because we got to pay the next guys coming up. You got Jaylen Brown, Byron Jones. You got all these players that are
stars.
That hold so much value.
So many great problems. They're all stars.
Not only he got stars, but what's the most valuable franchise in all the world?
Yeah, okay.
So he got money.
To your point, why didn't all these players, why didn't you guys, when you had your shots, negotiate for no salary cap? Baseball has no salary cap. Do you know what Jerry Jones would do with no salary cap? He owns $1 billion yacht.
Yeah.
What do you think he would do if it was an uncapped sport?
I'm all for it.
Okay? All right? Go win it. Go fight for it.
But Jerry was the only owner that wanted it uncapped.
Okay. Well,
Jerry was the only one. None of the other guys wanted that.
Jerry would win endless Super Bowls.
Of course.
Okay.
It would be the Yankees.
But really, can you have free agency if there's a cap? I thought free agency was the ability to go out and get whatever the market would bear. So if it's not position-wise, I mean, because they don't say, okay, you play first base, you can only get $25 million. And you play right field, you can only get $22 million. Mike Trout, you can get this. Manny Machado, you can get that. Bryce Harper, you can get that. Whatever it is, it's not position-based. It's talent and production-based.
Okay.
So pay me accordingly. Well, quarterbacks, he's the most important, the most valuable, so he has to make the most. Now, if I'm Von Miller is more valuable than any quarterback in Denver, so he shouldn't have to take less because he plays a rush linebacker.
Shannon,
you know what, Skip, baby?
You are in trouble.
I'm not in trouble.
That's what this. The bottom line for this discussion is you're in big trouble.
And Steven keeps selling these dreams on Super Bowls. When last time you put one on somebody's finger, Steven?
It's been a while. You want to remind us?
When last time?
We just moved
How
on.
was that? How was Zeke when last time they put a ring on somebody's finger? Ain't nobody honestly song was going there. Ain't no putting a ring on it in a long time.
Okay.
Well before that.
We still have got plenty of work to do before we're talking about rings. Greg, thank you for joining us. Well, the Warriors win even without KD. Still waiting to hear about the